The question that I have with it is I don't know if we're putting too much faith into this really being like the answer that people want or that they need because this war zone, it's just in shambles. Like it hasn't really been doing that well. And I don't know if it's really a smart idea to just bank on going back to the original map that they had, that's going to make everything better or it's going to make people forget about all the other problems that Call of Duty has right now. I have a feeling they're going to put this out. Everyone's excited about it. And then it's not going to live up to their expectations.
I really think people are going to just be tired of it and burnt out. Imagine if they stopped working on Warzone and they put all their resources into multiplayer again.
If I'm hearing you, do they stick with this team and just try their best to get it together this year? And if they don't, then just bank on next year?
In my heart, you don't make a change.
Welcome, everybody, to episode number 213 of the COD Casuals podcast. We're your host, Mike.
I'm Justin.
Justin, how we doing, bro?
Doing pretty good. You know, it was a nice, beautiful day today, actually.
God damn right it was.
It's a tease because it's probably going to get colder within like the next week or two.
Yeah.
But it was a really nice day today.
I was going to check my phone because, dude, tomorrow's supposed to be 62, bro.
Yeah, today it was 60 here.
Yeah.
60 and sunny. It's going to be the same thing tomorrow. So, I mean, not complaining about this. This weather's nice. We had daylight savings, so we went forward. So we got an extra hour of daylight too, and that definitely helps out a ton.
Yeah.
So now the sun's like setting, I think officially the sun's setting at 7. Oh no, so like 6:45. It's getting close to 7, and eventually it's gonna get to like 7:30. That's when it's awesome.
Oh,
Stay
dude, it's
out
the
late,
best.
summer days.
Well, and the thing too was, well, first off, this daylight savings hit me really hard. Like I
Yeah.
was exhausted yesterday. I think it was really just because of that hour shift, you
Yeah.
know. And then I got in my car and I realized that everything's off by an hour, and I'm like bugging at first. I'm like, what the hell? And
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, isn't it 12? And it's like, oh no, gotta go and adjust it. But then last night I was just hanging out and I'm looking out my window being like, oh dude, it's probably already getting late. And I'm looking, it's 5:30 and it's still totally sunny out. I'm like, dude, hell yeah. Like
Yeah.
it puts you in a mood overall.
Oh yeah, it definitely gets you in a better mood. You appreciate these days more than the shitty winters here.
Right.
Like, and just getting snow and cold and darkness around here. I'm ready for, this time of the year.
Yeah, dude, I still have a little bit of snow at the front of my house, and I'm like, "Get the out of here."
Yeah.
I want to get rid of that so bad. The winter was pretty bad this year regarding like just snow and sleet and rain. Like
Mhm.
it was not really that good. But it looks like hopefully we're turning a leaf right now, so I'm full bore into that. I want to
Yeah.
just be wearing this like outside, not have to be throwing on, jackets all the time and be like, shivering outside.
Mhm.
Especially too, because at school, like we do a whole bunch of like recess duties and stuff like that. In the morning, I'm out at the front, with the kids. And I hate it sometimes when I'm out there and it's, the wind's blowing, like wind chills down to like 25 degrees. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, Christ,
Yeah.
But today it's like nice and sunny. I'm like, dude, this is great. Like I love chilling out here.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. This weather with like a slight breeze, it's nice.
Oh, it's the
So
best.
this is why I mean I do like being around here because we do get all 4 seasons. So yeah, I'm sure by the time it's summer and it's 88 degrees and just humid, I'm gonna be like, all right, can we get the cool fall weather? But I don't really like winter though, to be honest. It's just I don't like the 20 degrees with wind chill making it feel like 5 and there's snow and slush everywhere. Like that part sucks. If it just snows, like, a nice what's a nice
Interesting.
coating of snow and it's even in the 20s, I guess, or the 30s, I'd be fine with that. But it's just the wind chill, the slush, and then everything turns into ice. Like all that stuff. Yeah, I don't care for.
Here's how I've learned it now, dude. It's that I love snow days when I'm acting like a kid. Meaning when
Mm.
I'm just in my room playing video games and I see like the snow coming down outside, that's when I love it. But now that we're old and I think about it, I'm like, I gotta go out and shovel my car out. I'm like, "Oh, dude, I gotta go drive to work, like, these roads are terrible." Then it's not exciting at all. But
Mhm.
if it's like a Saturday, even if it's like still, if it's a weekend and I don't have anywhere to go, you know? I'm still looking outside and I'm like, "Oh, hell yeah, like, it looks so nice out." Like, I wish I could just stay inside all day and game, but I just know I'm like, "Dude, I have to go out there. I have to go
Yeah.
shovel. I have to," you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, there's just some impending doom that's around the corner with the winter now. This weather
Mhm.
today is how I always wish it would be, where it's, like,
Yeah.
slightly crisp out, you know, you could wear short sleeves, it's a little cold, but you can wear, like, a long sleeve and you're good, but it's nice and sunny. Yeah, if it's, like, sunny and 60 all year round, I'm happy.
Yeah. I'd be happy with this type of weather. Um, and it's gonna be a tease, so we're gonna have this weather probably for, like, a couple days, and it's gonna go down a little bit, and then, it'll come back up once April comes around.
So,
But
yeah, I mean, I don't dude, I totally, like, I was gonna say I agree with you, but it's looking right now like these 2 days are kinda heavy. Like, Tuesday's gonna be tomorrow's 62 here, Wednesday's gonna be a high of 47. It's like
yeah,
so we're getting knocked down a bit there.
we're we're getting there, but, like, 60's different.
Yeah.
That's when it's good. When it's under 60, so. Like,
Yes.
50 and sunny, it's nice, but it is not 60 and sunny.
No. No, not at all.
Definitely a difference. But
That's a different ball game right there.
yeah. But I mean, weather's been good. I'm happy about it. Uh, we had some nice CDL matches over the weekend, which we'll get into.
So optics still shit, huh, Justin?
Yeah. Well, we'll get into
Dude.
that. We'll get
W
into that.
developing news with that team.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, and then I saw that the new Battlefield gameplay released. People talked about it for a hot 6 hours, and then I saw nothing about it afterwards.
Yeah, so, I wanted to touch on this because, you know, we'd had in the past, we had X Defiant that, was coming up and people were excited about this,
What?
thinking it was gonna be yeah,
What
do you
game is
remember that
that?
game, Dustin? Yeah, X
No, I
Defiant.
don't.
Yeah. It was this up and coming shooter. Everyone was so excited, and then they just, for whatever reason, stopped playing it.
My 3rd
Yeah.
most played game of the year.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
game
yeah, don't you
like
remember? Yeah. Yeah,
for the
dude.
hour.
You put
I
an
think it was
insane,
that.
like, 40 minutes or something like that into it.
I thought Yeah, I think it was like an hour.
Yeah, dude. That like, that game came and went. People were hyped about it for, again, about as long as you played it, about an hour, and then, they couldn't hang. And we haven't really had any competition, since, and everybody knows that, like, back in the day, it was always Battlefield that was the real, I'd say quote unquote competition because I still view them as 2 totally different games in the FPS, like, combat genre. Um, but yeah, they've got this new one coming out, and I mean, dude, I'm not much of a Battlefield guy, but the game looks really good, you know? And I wonder if this is going to be a game where no one's concerned if this game's gonna flop. Like, everyone knows it's gonna do well. Like, it's backed by EA, I think, right? Don't
Yeah.
they own the Battlefield IP? Like, it's not gonna, go under or anything like that. Um, and with the current state of COD that we have, talked at length before, I wonder if it's going to be a title that, people maybe go and just give that a shot over going into, we talked about last week, Modern Warfare 4, you know?
Mhm. I mean, I feel like, any time a new Battlefield releases around, the same COD, it's always a talk between, which game's better, and like you said, it's 2 different genres completely. Like, am I gonna buy this Battlefield? No. Am I ever gonna play it? Probably not. Because I don't that's just not my type of shooter. I'd much rather play, like, Siege or even, like, Marvel Rivals over Battlefield just because.
Damn, really?
Yeah,
I
um,
can see that though.
Marvel Rivals is, like, I like the abilities and stuff. I mean, it's like Overwatch, but I'd much rather play that than Battlefield.
Because, like,
And
you think
yeah,
Battlefield's too similar to COD?
no, it's just I don't like the what's the word? The pacing of it. Like, I don't care to be real soldier. Like, I want to
Right.
go and, like, fuck shit up, like, quick. Like, if
Yeah.
I don't mind playing tactical, well, like in Rainbow Six, but there's a big difference between Rainbow Six and then Battlefield, in my opinion. Like, Battlefield, when I think of it, I think of, yes, you have to be strategic, but the maps are huge. So you got to really work together as a team trying to capture a point or whatever. Whereas Siege, it is, I mean, it's very, very strategic, but the maps are tighter and smaller. So there's slightly more chaos, I think. You're always like engaging and stuff. Battlefield, I remember back in the day playing, like I just be like running for like a good minute and I wouldn't get into any engagements. Or like I would run, get sniped out of nowhere, and then respawn and then try to look for another engagement.
Yeah, I mean, Call of Duty is like obviously the perfect example of what an arcade shooter is. And I agree with you. I much prefer that style of a game where I'm just constantly in the action. And when, I die and I respawn, I'm back in it within a few moments. In Battlefield, from my experience, it's the exact opposite. And I just feel like that caters to a totally different play style. It has as to how you look at games. It's the same thing with, I always treat it like the Sniper Elite games, you know? Like when I want to go and really feel tactical and, take an hour and a half to do a mission, um, that's the game that's gonna kinda satisfy that. But if I just wanna go in and fuck shit up immediately, that's the last game that I would ever play. And same with Battlefield. It's like, okay, what am I gonna go and play? Like a game that lasts 45 minutes and I get, 16 kills
Hmm.
and like 10 deaths. It just doesn't really, yeah, it doesn't appeal to me either.
Yeah, and like the like Sniper Elite, I don't know why I like doing stealthy stuff in games solo, like in campaigns and stuff. I don't really want to do that in multiplayer. With like a large group, I guess. I mean, I guess it's different if it's like you're doing like co-op campaign or something like that. That's different. Um, but I don't know. I've just never been that person to play like a multiplayer game where it's something like that. Like I want to be in the action. If I'm playing multiplayer, I want to be with everyone like right away.
Yeah, and that's not really how those games are supposed to be played in the first place, right? Like you're not supposed to really be playing Call of Duty insanely slow like that, or
Mhm.
trying to be hiding around corners every 5 seconds. I mean, at least like, you get shit on if you played like that,
Yeah, you
by
can.
the community and also to just like, you know, that play style, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, the game doesn't really cater to that. And I'm with you on like Sniper Elite. I mean, we've had a bunch of fun playing co-op on that. Like that's just the whole point of the game. That's how you're supposed to play it. Um, and again, to the point of like playing it as single player instead of multiplayer. Yeah, but I just wonder if there's people who play Call of Duty and they maybe don't agree with us and they want to go have a slower multiplayer type game. Same thing, like I'm playing. I don't think this game had multiplayer, but Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Like thinking back to Brotherhood, which I'm pretty sure that game, which I know that game had multiplayer, the whole point of that game is to play stealthily and, like, sneaky, and that doesn't appeal to me in the slightest
Mhm.
as a multiplayer idea, you know? I wanna be doing that just in single player. I don't wanna be, taking half an hour to go and track someone down or, like, have to run 800 meters to go and find a target, you know? In a
Mhm.
multiplayer game, it doesn't yeah, it just seems boring to me.
Yeah, yeah. I completely agree. So, I mean, I think when this game comes out, there's always going to be people that, the Battlefield fans that try it out, they're going to like it. And then there's always going to be, the Call of Duty uh, fans and a couple like crossover here and there. But I'd say for the most part, most people are either on the COD train or they're on the Battlefield train.
Right. And the thing that was weird about it too, that along with this point just bothers me is there was some post where it's like, oh, if you have a down teammate, you can go and grab them and pull them off to the side to go and get them out of line of fire. And people go in and they start commenting and shitting on COD how they don't have that. Like, what
Mhm.
the fuck are you talking about? Like, to me, that doesn't make any sense. Like, dude, these are two totally different games as to how they play. It's the same people who are like, bro, why don't they have tanks and like, helicopters and jets in Call of Duty? Dude, that it
I'll
just, are you kidding me, bro? Like,
Yeah, I'll answer the first part that you're saying about reviving. There have been plenty of times when you're playing zombies or you're playing a game mode in COD where you go I forget what the game mode is, but it's like search and destroy, like search and revive or something like that. That I probably just butchered it.
I know
but
what you're
you
talking
know what I'm
about.
talking about. You enemy downs you, and
Isn't it
you can
like
go and
Bounty or something like that? Isn't it what it or no,
it
it
might
no,
be.
no, what is it? HVT, like high value target. Remember you could do that? I think that was in one of the last
That's
CODs.
yeah, that one's in Black Ops 6.
Yeah, but I think it might have been an idea in another COD as well,
Yeah,
but
yeah, but,
regardless.
like but to that point, though, so the HVT, you have one person, that's, you try to protect this person. If that person goes down, okay, odds are most people are not gonna go and revive them. And then there's another game mode that I remember it's search and destroy, but your teammates go down and then they have the tags, and you can go and collect their tags and revive them. And no one did that either. Like no one in COD, to be honest, is trying to help out another person.
That's facts.
And yeah, and I've tried reviving. I tried to, I tried my best, but I never get it back in return unless you're trying to help me. Because
Well,
most people do not care. They're out for themselves.
and to that point too though, like, I don't help you with that because we don't run Last Stand, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, I the amount of times that I've run into people using Last Stand or even, like, back in the day well, no, back in the day was way different, but, like, Last Stand now, I mean, dude, never happens. I don't know if it's just because the lobbies that we have. Maybe people that are just in their own realm of skill base, they're going and using Last Stand all the time, and it's just like a revive session. But where we are, dude, I can maybe count on one. I mean, no, definitely on one hand how many times I've seen someone need to be revived. And then
Yeah.
to that point, how many times do they actually get revived? Like nil,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I mean, like, dude, you imagine you're like, this is just a feature in the game where you can revive teammates. You know how annoying it would be playing just TDM and you're downing people like you're downing people in Warzone.
Right.
Like
Oh, it'd be
that'd be so
ridiculous.
annoying. And then they go around the corner, like a teammate pulls them, and now you didn't get that kill because you didn't finish it. Or
Right.
just like imagine that running through COD, it would stop the pacing of the game immediately. Like you get a triple kill, but you just down three people, and
Yeah.
then now you got to go shoot every individual player, and now you get the triple.
Yeah. It would be ridiculous. I mean, and also too, comparing back, like, unfortunately, back in was it MW2 and 3? I think when there was well, I think it was Final Stand that was in MW3. But actually, no, it was in
As
MW2,
MW2,
wasn't it?
I think it
Yeah,
was. Yeah,
it might have been in both, but
I think it was in both.
yeah, but like people use those all the times because Final Stand was so fucking broken.
Hmm.
Like, you could just go and have your like, your main gun out and using it, and then you could also just like, you didn't have to wait for a revive. You could just survive long enough, and then you would get up, you
Hmm.
know? Like, that makes sense, but well, kinda makes sense. But now, like, when you're just there with a pistol, like, dude, you're gonna get shit on. Like, there's no chance that you're gonna be able to actually gun somebody from that,
Hmm.
you
Yeah, and then
know?
you're waiting for some random person to come revive you.
Yeah.
Like say if you get that kill again, I'm just no one in COD's gonna try to revive you. Like
Yeah.
unless you're actually friends,
Oh,
it's just very
it's not
unlikely.
yeah,
The COD fan base is we're in it for ourselves.
dude,
That's just what it is.
I tell you too, just thinking about this, you know what I remember back from I wanna say it was MW3, the worst or one of the worst, like, perks that you could have was do you remember Dead Man's Hand?
Yeah, the C4. Yeah.
Bro, what the fuck were they
Yeah.
thinking when
Yeah.
they
I
added that? That was insane. You literally
yeah.
just C4 yourself, and you could get, like you could kill the whole team if they were
Yeah.
around you in that moment. Dude, that
Mhm.
has to be one of the dumbest things that COD ever added, I swear to God.
Yeah. That yeah.
Like, Last Stand and Final Stand are still pretty bad, but that one is literally just it's insane because you don't have to do anything. I don't
Mhm.
even think you have to pull the trigger on that, like, on the actual detonator. I think if you just kill them when they're in that stance,
Mhm.
then they just explode.
Yeah. I mean, that helps out very, very casual players, I guess.
Yeah, bro.
Very casual play.
Yeah, dude, it was the dumbest thing ever. But, yeah, a lot of people got some good clips from that, I'm sure, when they were
Yeah.
doing it back in the day. But yeah, I mean, kinda closing on that, dude, like, I'm curious what other people are gonna be doing with it, if they're, like, actually looking forward to, Battlefield, or if they're not. I'm curious to see how it does, whenever the next Call of Duty comes out, because I'm assuming that that's when it's going to be released, um, to see if it really takes people away from it. I think it will a little bit, um, but I think it's probably just going to be like, what it always was before, where there was some of that fan base that maybe played both and they kind of gravitated towards Battlefield. But COD is in a really tough state right now, so I don't know if more people would be inclined to switch over.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that I think Call of Duty is way more based for casual gamers just in general. So I think more gamers will stick with COD than going to Battlefield. Battlefield, I'm not going to say is really niche, but if you play Battlefield, you're a gamer. You know, you're not you're not like a person coming back from their like 9 to 5 job, like super tired, and then hopping on for like an hour and then playing with your friend. I mean, I'm sure there are a couple of people doing that, but that 1 hour is one match.
Right.
In COD, you can get, 5, 6 games in whatever. And I think COD is in a really bad state right now, but for the casual fan base, I think people are still playing it, even though I'm pretty sure they're at a record low right now in terms of player count, but people are still playing it.
Yeah, well, and dude, they're bringing back they're bringing back Verdansk too. So I'm sure there's going to be more of the casual base that maybe played back in the day, during the COVID times that are all excited for it. Because
Mhm.
I think even today, I didn't watch it, but I think they put out a trailer for it,
Yeah.
showing off that it was officially Verdansk. Because people saw in some screenshots about it, was it the Kilo and Amax guns are returning. I saw when I was watching the matches, Scump, he was all excited about it, being like, "Dude, I'm gonna run shit," and I'm sure there's a lot of people that are excited for this return, but I don't know. I mean, the question that I have with it is like, I don't know if we're putting too much faith into this really being like the answer that people want, or that they need, because this Warzone whole thing, like right now, we talked about in the last episode, it's just in shambles. Like it hasn't really been doing that well. And I don't know if it's really a smart idea to just bank on going back to the original map that they had, that's going to make everything better, or it's going to make people forget about all the other problems that Call of Duty has right now. I have a feeling they're going to put this out. Everyone's excited about it. And then it's going to be dog shit, or it's not going to
Mhm.
live up to their expectations.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they're delaying it, I think they realize how urgent it is. Like
Well, the Ubisoft.
they can't release a bad version of this. Like it has to be the same exact map from the original Verdansk. Like nothing can be changed. Obviously, the movement is going to play a role into it, but they can't change anything else. It has to be the same, or people won't, you know, they won't feel the nostalgia of it. But I do think this Verdansk is going to be it's going to be like MW3 with the MW2 maps. I
Right.
think people are going to go in, and if I hope nothing's broken, to be honest, just for their sake. But I think they're going to go in. It's going to wear off after a month, may, and that's like stretching it. I think for most people, I really think people are going to just be tired of it and burnt out, and like now what? That was their final draw. Like, well, what is their next move? Like I mean, they can be like Fortnite. I swear to God, is always bringing back the original Fortnite map, and people do come back and play, but Fortnite's very different than Warzone. So
Right.
I don't know. Verdansk is. I mean, I played back in the day on it. It was fun, but we haven't touched Warzone since, to be honest. And it's like it doesn't you know touch or like itch anything in our brain. And
Right.
I know it does for a lot of people, but not trying to be a downer about it. But I do. This is like their last straw. If this flops, like what are they gonna do?
Right, and they're also once again, like, I mean, your analogy of bringing up MW2 with the MW, or MW3 with the MW2 maps, was exactly how I feel about this, because they're just banking on nostalgia, which we've went at length before about how I don't think it's a suitable idea especially for an idea that they have right now where people are not really enjoying Warzone, and they're going to try to bank on that for people to come back. You know, it's not like Fortnite where it has already an unbelievably strong base of people that love the game and are content with it, um, and then they want to bring something back. You know, I feel like their approach is way different. They're not doing it out of necessity, where I think with these guys they totally are. They're
Mhm.
kind of at their last wits. People like hated the maps that they have. And like we said in the last episode, man, people just, I don't see anybody talking positively about it. So now they're just trying to throw everything they can and be like, all right, we're going to go back to the OG here. And like you said, even if there's something that's slightly different, I think people are going to flip out and they're going to be turned off immediately. Just be like, up
Mhm.
there they go again. Like they just couldn't help themselves. They couldn't leave it the way it was.
Mhm. Yeah, like you can bring back these like OG maps and the nostalgia, but you can never fully uh replicate the nostalgia factor when you're there,
Right.
especially when the movement's not the same. Yeah, I'm sure the movement's gonna feel great on it, but it's not the same game at the end of the day, and that will always be the case. So,
Yeah, I mean that again. That's why I think too. The game and the time was different. Like what you were doing and how the game was overall, and what has transpired since then. You look at it completely differently. It's hard to go back that many years and just be in that spot. Like, I mean, that was us during MW3. Like
mhm,
playing those maps came back. Um, it wasn't like a learning curve or anything for us, but they didn't feel the same because it was a totally different game and totally different vibe at the time compared to now.
mhm,
We played those games. I mean, we were what, like, teenagers. And now it's like, we're almost pushing 30. It's
yeah,
like, dude, it's way, you know what I mean? Like it's
yeah,
way different. You can't look at the game the same way.
yeah, and this was just like what 5 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that says something.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what they always need to do or should do with these is when they have some of these maps or like remaster stuff, they need to go and sprinkle in a lot of, new stuff that's going to be coming. I think just full sending it on the idea of nostalgia is not really good. I
Mhm,
mean, that's what we're getting with this season 3, cuz I don't think they've really confirmed what is going to be in it, but I mean, the big thing with this whole delay, it says they're giving us 4 to 6 maps, which is this is a huge W.
yeah,
Like, I'm really, really happy with this, and it said too that they're doing, a remaster as well, um, and I don't know if that's one of the 4 to 6, if it's gonna be like, "Oh, we're doing 4 to 6 new maps plus a remaster," or if it's all grouped, but even if it is, I mean, dude, that's potentially you get 5 brand new maps into the rotation, which will be huge for this game,
yeah,
um,
and
needs it.
one remastered map, and they're probably gonna remaster a good map, that
You
they
hope so, right?
always do. So, that's a lot of new maps, which COD hasn't gotten in a while. So, imagine if they stopped working on Warzone and they put all their resources into multiplayer again, we could get 8 to 10 new maps. Could you imagine that many maps a whole season? I mean, look, I know I said it last episode, hot take. I think they just need to cut Warzone. It's
I love that.
just get rid of it. And it sucks for everybody that's a Warzone creator or just enjoys Warzone in general, but it's not working. Yeah,
Right.
or they ship it out, they somehow separate Warzone to a specific developer. Like they don't have every developer in COD working on it. Then that I could understand. Like they give Warzone to Sledgehammer, whatever. And that's all they do. Sledgehammer doesn't release multiplayer ever again. Then that
Yeah.
I can get behind that because then these developers now can go full force into what their multiplayer is, you know. And like, could you imagine? I don't. I don't know if the model that COD is doing right now is going to work, forever. Where they release a new COD every year, or last year and the year before was the first time ever where they went back to back years with the same exact title and basically the same game. That's never happened before. But I've mentioned it before. If they did a free to play multiplayer, I think it would be so cool if Treyarch or Infinity Ward, they pick one engine. This is the engine, and say they keep the seasons, and they do season one. They will release 12 new maps for this whole season, and that they just keep stacking on every season with the same amount of maps, and you're continuously like updating the game, and it's always feeling refreshed and changed. But if they're making it free to play, that's where like all those microtransactions and stuff that you and I hate come into play. That's what was unique about COD, that it comes out every single year, it's slightly different, and you don't know what you're gonna get. But now we have these like mini seasons within a game where they add
Right.
in all these maps, which I think they could still do that, but there's only so much time in between CODs to fit all that stuff in.
Right. And the other part too that's just unfortunate is that COD is such, you know, a big entity that everybody wants a slice of the pie, you know? Like everybody wants to get paid on this project, like they all want to be involved in it. The idea of having one person or one group doing Warzone, I think in like at its core is a great idea. But again, the other people just would never let it happen because it's the amount of money that Warzone still generates, and that's the whole problem with it. Is there's all these people who they just want to go and cash in, and they see like they all want to go crazy on the microtransactions and make as much money as they can. Um, and then they don't really give a shit about the things that actually, you know, need to be done. We're still over here going into season 3, and I doubt we're going to get an anti cheat coming anytime soon. And no one's really saying anything about it because does anybody really care anymore?
Mhm.
Like they're over here putting out more stuff for us, which is great. But what are the chances you're going to be able to actually play without getting hacked on? You know, and they're going to be adding more Mastercraft bundles and all this stuff. But that's what generates money, and players coming back. Not really, they don't think as much about the intricacies of the game that need to be fixed to keep people coming back, and keep them interested for next year. I'm sure there's a lot
Mhm.
of people who are so spent on this game they don't want to come back next year because this left such a bad taste in their mouth.
Yeah, I mean, this they just need to get a group of people. Like, say if one developer doesn't do it, like they everybody wants a piece of the pie for Warzone. Just take a group from each developer and then throw them onto one team. Like
Right.
all of you work on Warzone. I'm sure all those developers have the resources. And if they don't, well, that's a problem. Maybe
Right.
that's why the games are so, you know,
Right.
they haven't been that good in the past couple
Yeah.
of years. But yeah, I mean, COD's just in a really weird spot like this year. And I think there are a lot of things that could change it, but there are a lot of things, like you said, that probably won't ever change. Like the microtransaction stuff, that stuff's all gonna stay always.
Of
And I
course.
can whatever, I can get past all that, but in season 3, like them adding 4 to 6 new maps, this should be more consistent. When I see this, I see okay, Treyarch is they're trying to be Treyarch. You know, like when was the last time we even got 4 maps in one season in general? Like this is a whole DLC essentially, like back in the day.
Right,
So
I was thinking that, and I wanna hope too, man, that there's no gimmick maps in here, where we're getting one
yeah,
of these that's like, bullet or something like that. Like, dude,
yeah,
that to me, that doesn't count. Like, I'm talking legitimate maps here, we're talking 3-lane maps that, along with what we're going to get into, they could be viable for competitive,
mhm.
you know? Um, After this weekend and just in general, watching I haven't finished the last episode of The Flank, but, um I think it was Parasite was talking about it, how, some of the maps and modes that they're playing, like, dude, watching Vault S&D is
Watching
like,
Vault in general.
and yeah, watching anything Vault is just like, it's so bad. It's so boring to watch it. You just immediately know what's going to happen. Like, I thought it was funny on those watch parties with Maniac. He's like, "Dude, this map sucks." He's like, "Dude, they just always like every time they're like, meet me in the
See?
vault."
Yeah, yeah, no, literally, yeah.
It's like,
You
and
didn't
he's
check
like,
pool.
yeah,
Oh, 3 stacked the bomb. They're never gonna break it.
right, exactly. It's so boring. It's probably boring to play and especially to just watch it, so they need to have some in this, season 3 maps here. I'm hoping that they've got some that the pros look at. And I swear to God that they better actually like consider these. I hope they don't look at them for 5 minutes and they're just like, "Yeah, no, we're not doing that. No, I can't do it." You
I
know?
yeah, or CDL is just like, "We're putting these maps in.
Yeah,
End of
don't give a fuck.
discussion. You
Right.
guys are the players. You're professionals. Figure it out."
Well, dude,
And I think, to some extent, like, that should happen. I mean,
yeah,
obviously, don't throw in, like, Babylon, but, if
Scud.
yeah, like, if Treyarch, let's say, they had a team that specifically designed competitive maps, and that was their sole, you know, role and responsibility is to
Right,
create 4 to 6 new competitive maps, like, every season. Throw at least half of that into there. No questions asked, because at least we know from the top that these were designed specifically for competitive.
right,
And if the players don't like it, I mean, like, that stinks. I'm sure there's going to be some players that do like it, you know, unless they get like a big, uh, what's the word? A unanimous like decision that, okay, this map just sucks. We're just never going to play it. Then that's different, you know?
right. But even if you look at like Rewind, that I don't exactly remember why that got removed. If it was because of a vote, people were just like they didn't want to play that, rather play and go play Vault. Um,
I
but
think it
now
was
the
because
amount. Say it
Hacienda
again.
was added.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
true. But now it's like, dude, people want they want that map back. They're like, dude, can we go and play Rewind? And it's
Mhm.
like, yeah, dude, at this point, I'd rather watch it. Just get something else into the map pool. Um, I mean, it's just S&D in general right now. I find like very boring. You know, it just doesn't. It's not as interesting. And yeah, part of it's just because we haven't had really any new maps that have been added other than Hacienda, which Hacienda is okay, I think. Um, but having some just fresh maps in there would definitely spice things up.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
because especially after watching this last weekend, there were quite a few matches where you already just know how they're going to play out, and it's not because of the team. It's just because of how the map is. It's just going to be okay. It's going to be all defenses. Here we go. You know,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would say most people are tired of watching Vault, like just Vault in general.
right?
And Control is actually really boring to watch because it's only 2 maps.
Yeah.
Like that, like at least throw in Hasi Control in there. And I know it's not the best, but that would, you know, give us something. I mean, the best map in my opinion to watch right now is Hacienda Hardpoint, and that's probably just because it was recently added.
Hmm.
And biased, I like Black Ops 4 a lot,
Right.
but at the same time, like, what is that saying? I like watching a map from, when did BO4 come out? Like 2018?
Something
Like,
like that.
dude,
Yeah.
7 years ago, and I'm still, like, watching this, you
Right.
know what I mean? It's like, I'm watching people do the same thing over and over again. I don't know what's more this year, I think, has been the most competitive it's been, but like, I don't know what year has been more boring in terms of maps, like this year or last year.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I feel like,
I think this year's pushing it for me. Like,
yeah,
because I swear when I'm watching, I'm like, did I just watch 4 vaults like in a row? I swear to
right.
God, every time I look, someone's in pool.
Well, and I'm trying to think too back to like the Vanguard year was kind of weird. Like that wasn't a great year to watch. But like maybe MW 2019, like that may not have been too bad. I think MW 2019 was probably one of the better years that we've had to watch COD. Um minus Cold War. Cold War was obviously
Mhm,
great. Cuz you had snipers in Black and in MW 2019, which was definitely like, a big element.
mhm.
And because the maps kind of allowed it. But even still, the maps in that game were so big sometimes that it was a bit of a snore.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I would say this year it is up there. It's definitely in need of some new maps in there because you said we know how Hacienda goes. We've watched it so many times. We've played it so many times, and there are only so many ways that you could really play that map, especially at a professional level. Like I said, some of them you just know they're gonna be like, all right, this is going to be defense here. Like, here we go again. And it's just, 0-1, 1-1, 1-2,
Yeah.
2-2, it's
Yeah.
like maybe they steal an offense, but
Yeah, and
yeah,
then same with, like, I think MW2 is not a good game, but at least the maps in there were new. Like, I
right.
think there's definitely more maps in there than what we have right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think so. Um, yeah, MW2, I agree with you. It wasn't a good year, but it did have some maps in there. But I had to go back and watch these because it's definitely recency bias with
Yeah,
this
yeah,
stuff.
it
I
definitely
don't,
is.
at the time probably thought it was terrible. Um, but I don't know. Some of them, like thinking back to the Vanguard year, I couldn't stand watching that. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I hated watching Vanguard. That like except watching like I like Desert Siege for whatever reason. I
Mhm,
thought like Desert Siege S&D was like a really fun thing to watch just because it could get so mixy. And that's kind of why MW 2019 was.
mhm,
But
yeah, and I don't know, MW3 was, I mean, we watched all those same maps.
yeah.
We played
Yeah.
those maps. So, but MW3 had it had its moments
Yeah.
at times. But yeah, I don't know. I would need to go back and like really look at the map pool.
We watch and realize, holy shit, this was terrible.
Yeah,
Like, dude, Black
that
Ops 6 is great,
that
dude.
would, I'm telling you, that would be bad. Like if we looked at the map pool right now, right? To like how many maps are there right now? There's Vault, Hacienda, Protocol, um, what's the other control map?
I'm trying to think. Let me go see.
Vault, Protocol, Hacienda,
F-
Skyline,
Skyline,
um,
Red Card.
Red Card.
That's it.
That's 5, dude, that's
5 maps.
5.
Yeah.
That's 5 maps. MW3 100% had more than 5 maps.
Yeah.
Invasion, uh, the star map.
So you ready for this, bro? So CDL. So this one was for hard point. You had Invasion, Karachi, Skid Row, Sub Base, and Terminal.
Yeah,
But
but like, a lot of those maps, like they got rid of
didn't make
Skid
it.
and
Yeah,
they
they
got
got rid
rid
of
of
Skid
Terminal.
Row, and they got rid of Terminal, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's 3 maps already that you just named off. We're more than
yeah,
halfway through what we have right now.
yeah. Right.
And then
They did
uh
add maps though.
they
Yeah, you're
added
right.
Rio, and then they added the Starship map, whatever. I forget what that map was called.
Yeah, I forget what it was called too. Yeah, they had. Yeah, this season was pretty good. I mean, again,
Um,
I remember the time it got, or it was a lot better, was when they added in the new maps. Like when they added in Rio, like that was hella fun. You
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Like,
So I don't know.
oh yeah, they had high rides too. I mean,
Oh yeah, true.
high rides wasn't the best, but all I'm saying is there were more map varieties, and we were
Yeah.
complaining. Like, I know for a fact you and I were complaining back then about
Oh, no doubt we were.
playing, the same maps from over a decade ago. We only have 5,
Yeah.
5, and we're watching these.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just not fun to watch it. Like say that it's not fun to watch anymore. Um, but when some of these come up again, they're just so predictable. And yeah, I'm hoping that some of the maps they add from season 3 can definitely make it into this, just to spice things up and give us like a new injection of life. Um, you know, but
They Yeah, they need to add something. But I am glad they're adding that many new maps, 4 to
yeah,
6
me
maps.
too.
Like that's big. I just went and checked Cold War because
Yeah, how many were in
Cold
there?
Cold War didn't have a lot of maps in general, like to begin with,
Right.
you know. But the maps that they did have were, I'd take those maps like right now over
Dude,
what we have
Moscow.
now.
Ooh.
Yeah, Checkmate, the plane in the middle, Checkmate,
Mhm.
Moscow, Miami,
Miami
uh,
was
yeah,
terrible.
Garrison, and Crossroads. They got rid of Crossroads though.
Yeah.
Crossroads is that super small map.
That was the snowy map, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Snowy map. It was small. It had like a
The
little
tank on
bridge
the
in it.
right side.
Yeah,
Yeah. I like that map.
yeah.
Dude, it's funny. I think it was in Scump's watch party yesterday. They're talking about that worst like CDL map and mode ever. And I remember he said that he's like Miami Search.
Yeah.
And
Oh
because
yeah, because
do you
he.
remember?
Yeah,
Yeah, he went
yeah.
like he went
Wait.
like 0-7 or something on that
Yeah.
map. He's like, fucking terrible map, terrible. And Method's was like,
Mhm.
didn't you get shit? I was like, shut up, nope.
Okay, okay, ready? So
But it was huge. And it was at night.
MW2, MW2. We got a CLO, LS CLO,
Yeah.
Embassy.
Arklov Peak. Was that
This
one of
is
them?
no, that's MW19.
Oh, MW19. Okay, MW2 is my
So yeah,
bad.
a CLO, Embassy, Mercado, Fortress at one point.
Oh yeah,
El
wow.
Mercado.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
The and then Hydro.
Did
And yeah,
um, yeah, no, Hydro was okay.
yeah,
Hydro was okay, but it had all the water routes, which was nuts.
yeah.
Um, yeah, dude, what was the one that you said it had the statue in it? It was like the last one you sent. You just said it was in the castle. Like,
Fortress.
yeah, yeah, dude. Yeah,
The spawn
Albagra
trap on that.
Fortress.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Albagra. Yeah.
That map was so bad to watch. Like,
The control is bad.
the search was great.
Yeah.
Search
The
was great
control is
on that
bad
map. Yeah, control
because
was a
it
fucking
because you were
joke.
spawn trapped.
Oh yeah, it was horrendous. Just I'm like, bro, just you have one guy watching the left door near the statue, and
Yeah.
one guy watching the double door, and
Pinned.
one guy watching cat. You're like, dude, it's over. Watching the plat there. It was yeah, that was like a that was terrible.
But out of those maps, like, I don't know. That map set's not as bad, I think, compared to what we have right now.
Yeah, I think like if they had Albagra search, that would be so much more. That was way more fun to watch than watching Vault S&D.
Hmm.
You
I'm
know,
trying to look. I'm looking at. I'm just curious now.
trip down memory lane with these.
Vanguard. We had Tuscan. Tuscan was like a decent map to watch.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think what else
Tuscan
was in
was Bokage, Desert
Tusk yeah,
Siege,
I remember Tuscan, yeah.
Berlin.
Bokage was, like, the farm one, right?
Yeah, the super small one.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would
yeah.
like, yeah. And then yeah, Berlin. Remember that
Yeah,
with the
huge
burning
yeah, with
tank
the
in the middle.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, Gavutu,
How did what was Gavutu?
the one
Was
with a
that
giant ship in the middle.
Yep,
Where
yeah,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah,
And
and it had
then
the turret on the right side, like, it was, like, all desert or, like sorry, it's not desert, or sorry, it was, all beach on the right side.
yeah, and if you went on
Yeah,
the ship, you could go all the way to the top, like in the
yep,
middle of the
yep,
map and like
yeah,
overlook everything.
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and then Demyansk.
Which one was Demyansk?
They had it in search for a bit. It's a one with um how do I describe it?
Bro, let me look this up right now because I don't even
It's a
remember
snowy
that.
map. It's with like the church in the middle. Like if you were up in the church and you could see everything
Oh, yeah, 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 I remember this. Yeah, bro, but they got rid of that, right?
immediately. Yeah, it was a
Yeah, yeah.
search map.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I remember that.
yeah,
Yeah, I like that map for pubs, it was fun.
yeah,
Yeah. Those maps, like, you think about it now compared to the ones that they've got in this game, those maps had, like they had a lot of big open areas too,
yeah, yeah.
you know? Like, you think about
And they
that
had
there
to,
and on Gavutu, like, they had all that beachside there, like, that wasn't really being used, like
yeah. And did they have snipers in Vanguard? I can't remember. No, I think they got rid
no.
of snipers.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't believe they did.
Yeah,
I know they had snipers though in MW2, I think, right?
yeah,
I think they did have
at,
snipers in there because I
yeah,
remember Illy hitting an insane shot on Fortress. Remember he got that collat when he was under optic?
yeah,
Yeah, he collatted
yeah.
like Paul X and somebody else.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was sick. But yeah, dude, going back on those maps, like first off, it's weird to think just for like talking about this now, how many of these maps you forget about.
Hmm.
You know, like they were only a couple years ago, but you really don't remember. You're like,
I
shit, man.
I hope one of these remastered maps that they're adding is Arsenal.
I know,
Like
bro.
I
You're an
really want
Arsenal
Arsenal.
fan. You love Arsenal,
I want them
bro.
to add Arsenal or add uh Fuck, what's that map? God damn, frequency, frequency.
Yeah, frequency would be really good.
They just there are a lot of bangers of Black Ops 4 just in general.
Oh,
And
yeah,
again,
totally. No,
biased, but
there were
there are a lot of good maps from
but
there.
dude, that game was so good though. Like
Yeah.
that there were very weak point or very few weak points about that
Mhm.
game overall, I'd say. Um but yeah, man, I mean, we'll have to go and wait and see when I guess it gets closer if they're going to leak what the remastered map will be. I guess but I hope it's something good. Um but yeah, dude, we touched on it a little bit and we don't have to rant about this too much
Yeah.
because I mean, Justin, there really ain't much to say anymore with this whole situation. You know, I mean, we'll obviously talk about Optic because it was another tough weekend for them. But there's been, a couple of good matches here. Um, I believe we have one more weekend. So we're filming this on the 10th. So this coming weekend, we got more. So for Optic, it's going to get worse. They're definitely going to, I'll be shocked if they beat Thieves.
Mhm.
I think that's pretty much an auto loss at this point, right? Like I just don't see it happening. Um, but then they have LAG coming up after that, which will be exciting. Um, but they had two matches this weekend. They played let me go see because I had them here for a second. They played Toronto and then first they played Miami and then they played Toronto. They played Miami on Saturday and then Toronto on Sunday. I think we texted during both those matches. The Miami one was tough. They got 3-0'd, which
Mhm.
was, disappointing for sure. But they had some moments on there where they weren't too bad. Like I think the search, if I'm not mistaken, I think they played a Hacienda search. And I want to say it was around five. Um,
Mhm.
or around 11, sorry. And then they played control, same thing. They played vault control, and I also believe that was pretty close too, but the hard point wasn't.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then they played Toronto, bro,
Yeah, yeah, then I mean,
and then they played Toronto.
yeah. But so Optic hasn't won a single map like this entire split, which is wild. Like at the
We are living in wild times.
it's wild that they haven't won a single map. And dude, I mean, I forget who said it, but I'm like on the boat of like at this point, these guys, they're just so in their heads. They're so deep in their thoughts at this point because I don't like this is why I'm not a GM. I don't care what people say about any of these players. Like they're probably I mean clearly they don't mesh on this game right now, but you're telling me these four guys can't win a single map because of their like skill or whatever. No, like they're in their they can shoot back. They can 100% shoot back. But if you just I mean, you watch the mini map, they're trying to do too much. Like you and I have talked about it all the time when you're playing just like in ranked. You want it to be an assembly line, and you want to do things together. If you watch the mini map, they're clearly not doing that because all of them are trying to make, that that insane play that gets everyone going. Now, like I think
Right.
back to when Simp popped that, I think it was a three piece on Miami. I think it was a three piece
Yeah.
on Vault, and someone like jumped over him and he like 180'd and killed him, and everybody freaked out, and that was a turning point. And I think these players on Optic are trying to get that. They're trying to get just that ounce of dope. You know,
So, did you see the clip of Shotzi from his stream where he was
no,
talking about that? He basically said that,
oh
um, saying that he's like, dude, I just need one win and then I'm fucking there,
yeah,
you know? Which some people absolutely cooked him and, labeled him as like, hopeless copium and all that stuff.
yeah, yeah,
Um, which I don't know how to feel about it because first off, to go on stream and be like that chill about it, it's again, it's either both sides. You're like, dude, do these guys either A, not give a fuck, Like, they're that over it that they're just like, "Oh, it is whatever," you know?
Mhm.
Or they are still so confident in themselves and they know deep down that, "Look, it's fine. Like,
Yeah.
we
And
know we're way better than this." But when you watch them
I
play,
know.
though,
I know.
it's so bro, that I tell you, dude, I got anxiety watching that Ultra thing. It
Mhm.
was sad.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
and
like they looked like gold players. I'm like, "Bro,
yeah,
what?"
I don't they're trying to do too much. Like, they're not I think everybody can say that. I mean, look, if I was any one of those players, I am 100% on the side of everyone that's saying to make a change, shut the fuck up. Like, my confidence, dude, would be through the roof. Like,
Yeah.
no matter what stage. And again, that's why I'm a bad GM. But even to this point, like, dude, like I heard people saying, drop Kenny, fuck, all right, drop Kenny or and pick up Skies. The fuck you mean pick up Skies? No offense to Skies, but like, dude, you're telling me that you're gonna get some guy from LAG that's stuck at the bottom? And look, again, it's this game. Clearly, these four are not meshing on this game. But I like would much rather take these four players, knowing what they've had in the past, regardless of how this game looks, than changing it, throwing in another player. Okay, yeah, they look really good this year with that new player. Okay, next year, who's usually more consistent? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I don't like about COD, and I understand why. Like, you want to make the change because, okay, then why are you even in the league if you're not trying to win, right? But what happens if next year you get rid of Pred, you get rid of Kenny, and now they're shitting on you? Like, they worked so hard to get this team this year. Worked so hard to get the team last year, and they won champs with it, right? Like, imagine if Thieves were having that problem. Imagine that. With
Right.
and that's how I see Optic. Like, these players are on that caliber. They're all stars, but it's just not working.
Right, and that's the question of, if I'm hearing you, do they stick with this
Mhm.
team and just try their best to get it together this year, and if they don't, then just bank on next year?
Yeah, in my heart, you don't make a change. I don't give a fuck. I mean, you're fucking losing so much at this point. Don't make a change. But if you're actually trying to win this year, and I'm not even saying like trying to win as like they're gonna win. Like, I don't care what people say. They're gonna
Do you
win.
think
They're
they win this year?
way like yeah, they're gonna win a series this year
No,
or like a
no,
major in
okay,
general.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I mean,
I mean, they're definitely gonna win a map or win a
you
series
can
against a team.
you
There's no
can
fucking way.
you can ask me after major two,
Okay.
but like there's no chance. I'm saying this right now. There's no chance that this team doesn't like get better if they stick together. I just I just cannot imagine getting rid of Pred and Kenny. If those are the two that you get rid of, or one of them,
Those are definitely the 2 you get rid
for
of.
fucking like I don't even know, for anyone. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Unless you get Scrap and Hydro,
And they're not ever
and
gonna
that's
go.
not happening. But
Right,
all I'm saying is, like, I would really love to see what would happen if this was like Thieves.
right.
Or if, say, Thieves, I mean, Thieves right now, they look red hot. They're super consistent. But what if Thieves win champs this year? Next year, they just don't look as good.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
it's just, I don't, it's as a GM, yeah, I get it. Go ahead, make a change. Everybody on the flank has said they got to do something at this point if they want to win. 100% understand, but maybe I'm just speaking from like being an Optic fan for so long that this ain't a fun, like, this is not a struggle, insane struggle seeing them like lose this much. I've seen them lose multiple times and not even like place top three.
yeah, the thing now is it's not even I wouldn't even be that concerned if they were losing and they were just, like, right there, like,
Mhm.
barely losing. I don't think many people would feel that. I say many people, the Optic fan base, those they'd probably be totally
Yeah.
beside themselves. But more like, level-headed people, I think would understand the situation, be like, look, they're playing Toronto. Toronto's good, but they're still playing them really closely. You
Mhm.
know, that would be a way different story than when we were watching that game and it was hard to watch. It's like,
Mhm.
oh my God, these guys have no idea what they're doing. They don't even know how to play this game, you
Mhm.
know? I mean, it really just looked like, a bunch of crim or iridescent people shitting on like gold players. I mean, it looked
Mhm.
that bad. I
Yeah.
mean, I know you saw that clip in the S&D when they, well, I can't remember who it was looking down the stairs and killed. I think it was maybe Dashy, and then Kenny was just didn't move, just stayed
Yeah.
right there, and he just kept going and then shot him. And it's like, what are these guys? What are they doing?
Mhm.
You know, I think there's a lot of those moments that even now you and I can look at, and it's like, wow, they're
Yeah.
they've they've lost those fundamentals,
Yeah, yeah.
which to a point that Octane made, and I agree with it. They had.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what's, like, so confusing to me
Mhm.
about it, is like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
Like,
But
it's not like, there's teams that have gotten better for sure, but the game hasn't changed. The maps
mhm.
haven't changed. That what you do on those maps and how you play them fundamentally is still the exact same. So that's where, to your point, I agree in that it's in them. They can do
Yeah.
it. For whatever reason right now, they're not doing it. And will they get that back? Like, if they win a series and all of a sudden they're just like, "Thank God, like, we
Yeah.
finally ended the
Yeah.
drought. Now we can play the game."
Mhm.
Or it's that even if they win a series barely, it's not to say the next one they're gonna get
Yeah.
smoked. They haven't learned anything.
Yeah. I mean, like, dude, it's just it's all in their heads at the end of the day. It has to be mental at this point because, like, you said they have the fundamentals. They had it.
Mhm.
They're so in their heads about this, man. Like, being on Optic too, I'm not even trying to make excuses for them or whatever, but it's like you need to perform at the highest level. And also all those guys they won champs together.
Right.
So imagine winning champs together and now you guys are dead last in the split. Like you're a championship caliber team. You're just not performing there, at that
Right.
point. And it sucks that um look, I know what they're 0-12 right now in the split, right? I think map count or 0-16. I think it's
Yeah, I'm trying
12.
to see if I can find it, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to.
I think it's 0-12. Um, but yeah, again, like we don't
0 and
know
15
0
map,
and 5.
yeah, map count.
Yeah. So look, behind closed doors, like in their scrims and stuff, maybe they're losing too. Like we don't know that, or maybe they're barely winning some games. And it just stinks seeing that. Okay, so within what 2 months, let's say, a championship team went to nothing, and now we gotta just like make a change, get rid of the two guys that we worked so hard to get, and I think this is just me being like liking brands and stuff, but it,
Right.
it gets rid of that like aura of Optic or just like any team. Imagine if FaZe like just switched up every single year. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
yeah, no, it would be ridiculous. I was trying to see if I could find this because I was gonna tell you that that literally happened in one of his, it was a clip from his, stream where he was talking about the scrims, yeah, um, but what he says that before this is a quote from some clip here, says, "Before this week started, the scrims were horrendous. This week played phased, it was 2-3 map counts and hard points. LA Thieves, it was 2-3 as well."
Mhm.
So, yeah,
Okay.
another quote here, "Our scrims definitely look better than our matches."
Yeah,
Bro,
I like.
what the fuck is happening?
Well, no, yeah, I mean, I think all those players are especially like Kenny in general. Like he goes
Yeah,
through like a lot of like hot and cold starts. I mean, dude, remember him in Vanguard, and then remember like even last year, like he'll go through like really hot
eh,
moments, and then
right,
you know look really good, like the best player again. But
right,
to Shotzi's point of he just needs to win one. dude, we've any COD player has been there.
Dude,
And
we've been there on
I
our
say it all
shitty
the
ass
time.
levels, bro.
You all it takes is one kill.
Yeah,
One
and no,
kill and people are gonna say, yeah, but I'm like, nah, dude, I don't give a shit. Look at FaZe. I don't care that they look good right now. They look bad in the beginning of the game. It took one series for
right.
them.
Dude, I'm telling you, I was so disheartened when they lost that red card hard point
Mhm.
because there was a moment, I think it was in the P4, I think, P3 or P4. It's like in the stairwell,
Yeah.
that hill. And Pred got a three-piece, and I saw the cam, and he's, like,
Yeah.
screaming, and I was like, "Dude, let's fucking go." Like, he needs to hype these guys up. Like,
Mhm.
I was hoping that him just yelling that shit would get people, like, all amped up and like, "Okay, shit, let's do this, man." But, it was
It
such a
wasn't
bad
enough.
map. It wasn't
Yeah.
enough. Yeah, I know.
Because
You're right. They need that one
they need it.
moment, and to Shotzi's point, they just need to win a fucking game. I
Mhm.
mean, and it can't be against Falcons. They're gonna
Yeah,
play
yeah.
Thieves, and I respect Scrap a lot for saying it. He's like, dude, we're gonna be playing that hard,
Yeah.
because he's like, that could be the game where they just wake the fuck up and
Yeah.
they're like, immediately a top three team again. Like
Yeah.
it could happen. That's how we're gonna treat it.
Mm.
Um, but then they have LA Gorillas after that,
Yeah.
and I mean that again, if they lose to that, it's like, what do you do at that point? That's where we go back to our initial question. It's really
Mhm.
just a matter of, do you stick it out and hope and pray that they figure it out, or do you go and dip into challengers or go pick up Hook again? I mean, I don't know. It's very sad to watch at this point, though, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it just stinks looking at the players because I mean, they all know that they're better
Oh
than
yeah.
that, and it's like,
But what do you
yeah,
do?
they're stick it out. I don't give a fuck.
I
Hot
like that.
take. Stick it out because I guarantee you, if you get let go of Kenny or Fred, they are fucked the next year. I like
Yeah, I know.
you're telling
I know.
everyone was gassing up how good Fred was, like, oh, he's the best player in the game from Vanguard.
Right.
Oh fucking K. Now you want to drop this fucking guy? That makes
Right.
no sense. And people have said that. That's why I don't like parts of the COD community. And people are gonna say, well, you're trying to win. I agree. But don't you also want to protect like the players that you have?
Right.
Like, what it people are saying to drop Hydra. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. No, they're
Like,
stupid.
look at him now. Like, he's one of the most consistent players right now. Um, and yeah, like I won't harp too much on Optic anymore. Like, keep the fucking team. These guys are gonna get back. I don't care. Look at the when Shots is talking about the scrims and stuff. Look at Boston. How the fuck did we go to game 5 against FaZe? Like,
Right.
based on the track record we had,
Right.
watching those guys, they weren't looking that good. And we had the best um series like of that day.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it was very, very close. I call it reset cheese on that bullshit.
I do too a little
Totally.
bit.
Totally. Totally.
We can use that excuse.
Yeah, exactly. But then, against Boston, they got 3-0 body slammed by Thieves, you
Yeah.
know? So it's like, what the fuck, you
Yeah.
know? So I mean, that's what I'm really hoping for. Like, closing out all this talk, man. Like, again, there's not much to say on Optic. We'll talk about them again after this match that they have against Thieves because that's what they've got. I think it's just the one match this weekend,
Mhm. Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
Against Thieves.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll be talking about them. But um, there's really not much you can, say other than just you hope that they win that match. If they don't win, it's really not a surprise
Yeah.
because one, they're playing Thieves, who they're fighting for the top spot right now. But hell, we could be coming here and be stoked and shocked that Optic just figured it
Like,
out. And even if they lose, but they bring it to like a map 5 or something, be
yeah.
like, dude,
It
what the fuck,
it only takes one. And if there is
Exactly.
one, it would be that one to
Exactly. They
ramp them
could be
back
the
up.
ones to do it.
So scrap, like you never let your foot off the gas pedal if you're a top team. So
Well, that's what he's saying. Yeah.
scrap is right. You gotta like ideally for Thieves, they go in, they 3-0, sweep them so
And
fast.
they're
Mhm.
just like, wow, those guys really are bad, like they
Yeah,
still don't have it figured out, like Beans was like that. You could tell, like he was
yeah,
just like, wow, but you hope that with Thieves, they're just like, all right, let's see what we get today, and then they get absolutely shit on in like the beginning of the hard point. They're like,
Mhm.
okay, fuck, these guys seem to have maybe figured it out,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. But we'll have to wait and see. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, I don't really think I have much else to be talking about on this one. I think we pretty much covered everything we wanted to. Talking about Battlefield, which um, we'll definitely be curious to see what people talk about over on TikTok, as we'll cut that part up for sure and see what if some people are on the Battlefield side, and then let's hope and pray for some good matches and hopefully some new maps to be watching for the matches.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I did
some
want to mention
competitive vault.
the the match about Boston and FaZe, like,
Oh
going into
yes,
that quickly. Went to game 5, and it was close. Like you said, I call reset cheese on that. Dude,
it was total reset cheese,
yeah,
dude.
yeah. I'm like, God damn it. The servers made a mistake, and FaZe are gonna take that. Like, those guys, it was like a 40-minute delay. You just know those guys are just sitting there like, we're like we're so much better.
Yeah,
You know that.
yeah, and
And
Boston's over here bugging because they're
dude,
like, dude, we could fucking beat FaZe right
it
now.
it killed their momentum. Like,
No,
that's what sucks. Like,
yeah, it was the
obviously,
worst.
like, all these guys are like, well, we can beat any of these teams, right? But the Boston had momentum going into it. I think Cammy was like 6-0 or something. And then it got
Yeah.
reset. I'm like, are you kidding me? What is that?
Well, and then yeah, the question too, I couldn't remember it, is the question of streaks. Like, what they ended
Yeah.
up doing with the streaks, if they ended up giving them back. I don't remember.
I mean, I didn't see
I
any.
don't even know if they had any, yeah. Because that's always a concern with it. I mean, that's what sucks about it too. There's no
Yeah.
pause system in there, or like
Yeah.
it's just it gets reset. It's like, hey, you had
Yeah.
6 kills, now it's
Mhm.
0. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
what the you know?
But then, dude, like, like, imagine you're playing S&D and you get 6, you're like 6-0, 7-0.
Oh yeah.
You're on a heater.
Yeah.
And then you have a 40-minute delay
Yeah.
and you got to
Hands are
restart.
ice cold.
Dude.
There's only so many bots you can shoot.
Yeah, that Cammy was just reading everything. Well,
Yeah.
when you're in that mode, everything's just flow. You're reading everything right.
Oh, well, and especially too off the Hacienda hardpoint that they won and
Dude,
clutched
yeah.
up on, bro, that was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that hill was so mixy, and then just again how they played it was so good. I thought they were going to carry that. And I was like, oh, dude, this is fucking raps. Like FaZe
Yeah.
just broke down in this hard point. They can't even believe that they're still playing this game against Boston. You know, and I think in that game, Cammy too, like in the hard point, he was killing. Like he was
Mhm.
really really good.
Yeah,
Um,
and they're like
Slower one from Snoop though.
screamed, they're like, we fucking did it. And
Right,
they're like, "Oh, let's get into this S&D." And then
40 minutes.
ice cold. You
Yeah.
kidding me?
Yeah, it was not ideal. I mean, it was a good I don't know how you really wanna feel about it. I'd
It
say
was
I'm
good.
happy,
Yeah.
like, they're playing, the team that just won Major 1, and, you know, they barely scraped by with the win. Obviously, they're still gutted the fact that they lost it, but they did show some signs of life, placing that close against another top team. Um Weird how that works because then Seattle, they went and played, they brought it to what was it, a map 7 or whatever
Yeah.
it was in the, minor tournament, and then they got fucking blown off the map
Yeah.
by teams when they rematched them.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, dude, are FaZe and Thieves the only fucking teams that
The
consistently can play this game?
Yeah.
It seems like they are. Seems
Yeah.
like these other teams just, depending on how many hours of sleep they got or what they ate that day, they're either shitting or
Mhm.
they're getting shit on.
Yeah, dude, that Boston reset was equivalent of, like, you and I playing S&D. We're like round 10. We win this, we get to round 11, and then you lag out.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like
And then
the
just
dopamine just
shock.
immediately gets
Yeah.
sliced. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And I hop
But
back in. We fucking lost. I'm
yeah, we
like,
lost. Yeah, dude.
I was like, bro, if I was there, we
Yeah.
win that shit.
Yeah. Um,
Uh, it's
but
fucking
yeah,
terrible.
yeah, like you said, FaZe and Thieves are the clear top 2 right now without a
Yeah.
doubt, and I mean, Thieves, they've just looked remarkable right now.
Yeah.
It's not like FaZe looks bad or anything. They still look good. I just think everyone's highlighting Thieves right now because Hydra's been playing really, really good this split, and also they've just been like pounding teams.
Right.
So I mean, Am I going to be surprised if Major 2, it's a Thieves versus FaZe again? Nah. I,
I mean, when we do our predictions, that's what it's gonna be for both of us, I'm sure. I
yeah,
don't think
probably.
either of us are throwing in Surge there being like, "Optic's gonna make the losers run."
yeah.
I don't think so. Yeah, they're the most consistent teams. They've been the most consistent all split, and I think both these teams now are finally getting into like their real form. FaZe obviously after their struggles in the beginning of the year have found their footing, and same thing with Hydra. He seems to really just heat it up and is playing at the level that everybody expected him to, and now that team's really dangerous.
Mhm.
Um, so it's going to be down to them, I think. Right now, I think they're just going to be, they're going to be the best teams for a while until if and when Optic wakes up from this nightmare and they all of a sudden start putting it together. I don't think Surge or any of those other teams are really going to be um, consistently challenging
Mhm.
Thieves and FaZe. I think
Yeah.
maybe they'll on occasion, snag a series on them,
Mhm.
but I think it's going to be very rare.
Yeah. Again, you got to catch those two teams on an off day, and it's gonna be hard catching a team like that at a major on
Right.
an off day. But again, I mean, it's possible. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I think it can happen.
it can happen. Yeah, it can happen to any team. But
Yeah, exactly. I mean, shit, FaZe could have just lost the breach. It could have just
yeah,
happened there. But like at the end of the day, if breach, or if FaZe lost that, they're not tweaking. They're
no,
like,
no, yeah. But those are the coolest majors when like a top three team gets eliminated early
oh, it's the
before
best.
semis. It's like, and all the other teams, you got to be looking at it a little bit like, oh man, we don't need to go through a phase or a thieves
Right.
or like an optic, you
Well,
know?
I I was feeling that dude because when Thieves or when FaZe got knocked out, Thieves must have been like, "We fucking won!
Dude,
Like
yeah,
it's over."
yeah,
And they're, and they see Vancouver, they're like, "Fuck these
yeah.
guys!"
And
Ain't
then Seattle
But
just,
then the
or yeah, Vancouver just turned up.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But I mean, everyone was expecting Thieves to just smoke them
Yeah,
in the grand finals, but then the fact that they didn't, Thieves was definitely like, "You have to be kidding me right now!
yeah, yeah.
Like these guys aren't terrible." Yeah. But I mean, it'll be interesting to see how this next week pans out right before we go to the major 2 in Texas.
Mhm.
So we will stay tuned. We'll definitely be talking about the matches as they unfold for next time. Um,
So
and then,
Falcons win something.
let's hope, bro. We're praying for those boys. I need to see something.
If
We
they
need to
win
see
on
some.
LAN, oh my god,
We
the
need to see
crowd's gonna go
oh,
crazy.
bro. We're gonna see a Dahum masterclass. That's what we
Yeah,
need to see, bro. I need that so bad.
yeah.
Like I want that guy to just absolutely
Dude,
fry.
this I saw a stat. This split, he's like one of the top 10 players in the league right now.
Dude, he ain't bad. Dude,
And
he
I'm
ain't
like,
bad.
that like Loki sucks though.
Yeah, bro. He's not bad, but
Yeah,
his team just cannot play
they
hardpoint.
they can't catch a break.
No. Their search is solid. Their search
Yeah,
is good, but their HP and control is just fucking atrocious.
yeah.
But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, man, I think that's all set on mine. You got anything else you want to say before we call it?
No, I mean, I think we covered everything.
I think that is everything. So we will leave questions to some of this stuff. And again, be sure to go over to the TikTok or Instagram shorts to go watch us at COD Casuals there. If you don't want to watch the whole episode, just go there and check them out. We appreciate the support there, as well as going to anchor.fm/COD Casuals since we're there on all stream platforms. And of course, going to the YouTube. We appreciate if you go there, comment, and subscribe. Um, and then, of course, going to the Twitter as well, since we're over there pretty much posting daily. So do give us a follow there and then do join the COD Casuals community. If you want just exclusive updates or you want to ask us any questions, we're pretty much there active all the time. And then on all those platforms, 5 stars.
Hmm. 5-star rating.
Yeah. And I think that's it, bro.
Oh, wait, actually, side note. I
No.
saw we were in an article for
What?
top yeah, dude, yeah. For the people that
Shittiest.
an article top it was like top 90 esports podcast right now. We're number 18. Kind of
dude,
crazy.
dude. Boom.
Consistency. So
Fuck
thank you to
yeah.
everybody that's
We
been listening,
appreciate you on that, getting us there.
which
Well,
is
why
kind
didn't you
of
get us to number 1? What the fuck?
yeah. Let's pass the
What the
flank.
fuck? What the fuck? If it was the flank number 1,
No, it was it wasn't a COD podcast. It was like esports as a whole.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Do you
but
know what
there,
number the flank was at?
it was top 10. I
Uh,
forget what it was. I
we're
mean,
almost there.
dude, 18 is not bad.
18's not
Hey,
fucking bad. I was ready for you to say like 89. I'm like, shit, we made it.
dude,
18, though,
for
we're up there. We solidified.
two guys that consider ourselves casuals,
Dude, fuck
not
yeah.
bad.
I love that. We appreciate that. So
Yeah.
everybody who got us to number 18, we love
5
you. Thank you so
stars.
much. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. 4.5 ain't gonna get us to
Yeah.
fucking number one, boys.
Yeah.
Like, let's pick this shit up. But again, everybody, thank you so much for listening to this episode number 213 of the COD Casuals podcast. We're your hosts, Mike,
I'm Justin.
and we'll see you guys next week. Take it easy, everybody.
See ya.